Sharkie Gamer here. So today we're taking a look at the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 limited edition controller for PlayStation 3. This is made by Big Ben, as you can see the logo just down there. And this is the packaging. It's in a nice clear box that displays the controller really nicely, and you can get a bit of a peek at the artwork on the controller itself. The front of the box sort of advertises here as well that the buttons are illuminated, as you can see. It's got Bluetooth, Call of Duty Black Ops, and a Bluetooth controller down there. On the sides, it's just got the name again, same with the other side, just shows the other half of the controller. On the back here, it's got different languages and of course game icons, the company logos. Down here in English it says, Bluetooth controller with rechargeable battery for PS3, motion sensor technology, 2 vibration motors, USB 2.0 power cable for sync connection and charging, rechargeable battery, up to 10 meters range, backlit action buttons, non-slip ergonomic triggers for precise gaming, rubber grips for perfect handling. That's all it says there in English, and on the bottom of the box it's got the kind of general company stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this up and have a closer look at this controller. Alright, so it comes in this sort of packaging, and it's got this cardboard down the bottom here. And that comes off. And then this just pops open. So let's have a quick look at the contents before we have a closer look at the controller itself. So that's the controller. You get a manual, user guide, and it's just got really kind of brief information in there, kind of features, how to sync your controller connected for the first time, etc. And it's in all different languages. You get a charge and sync cable, so you can plug it into your PS3 to charge as well as sync it the first time you connect it. And it's got another Big Ben thing here that shows you about the company, tells you about the battery, etc. Alright, so let us take a closer look at the controller. So on first glance you can see straight away the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 artwork right in the center there. It looks quite nice actually. Now the controller itself is actually very glossy. It's a very kind of glossy finish, really easy to leave kind of fingerprints on. Don't know if you can even see that, how it smudges, but very shiny kind of surface pretty much all over the controller, except for on the sides, where there's actually, I don't know if you can see the icon there, it says Call of Duty Black Ops, and it's almost like a rubber kind of grip finish just there. And that's on both sides. Everywhere else it's very shiny and everything like that, including on the back with the handles, although you can see there's kind of like a groove there they've actually made so that you can actually hold in your hand a little bit more comfortable, so it's supposed to fit your hand a bit more better basically. So first off, holding the controller. Now holding the controller straight away, the first impression you'll get is that it's heavy. And it feels heavy because there's actually a battery in the back here. So there's actually a removable battery right there that you can pull out and put back in and so forth. And that's basically what you can recharge. And that adds an extra weight, but the controller itself is actually also pretty heavy. And it actually gives the impression that it's actually a better quality controller. Just because it feels a bit weighty, it actually feels really nice to hold. Just that extra weight just gives it a nice feeling to it. Second thing you'll notice when you actually hold it is that you can feel these grips down here on the actual handles. Now they're supposed to basically align with your hands perfectly so that you basically have a really good grip, as you can see there. They're supposed to align with your fingers so you can hold it really nicely and it fits into your hand really smoothly. But what I find when I'm doing this, for some reason they just don't feel quite right. Like there could have been a little bit more improvement done. Some controllers that have these types of grips, you pick them up, you have them in your hands, and they just fit like a glove. You think, oh, this fits straight in my hands really nicely. But for some reason, these grips feel a bit, I don't know, they just feel a bit off. They just don't feel quite right. They're alright, they keep you in the hands quite nicely, and you can hold on to it. It's supposed to just provide a bit of grip when you're holding the controller, and for the most part it does that just fine. I mean, holding this controller, it's not slipping out of my hands, I'm holding it quite nicely. Basically they sit in my hands they sit perfectly, but for some reason it just doesn't feel as right as some other controllers do. And same with these rubber side grips, like, they're in the side and you hardly feel them, so it's like they added them as just an afterthought. Oh, we better put some rubber grip in there, but I don't know, it just doesn't do anything to the controller really. I mean, you can feel them on the side, and I guess it gives you a little bit of texture, a bit of resistance there, so it doesn't just slip out your hands. But again, that's what they are for as well on the back. So yeah, it's not 100% sure why they've even done that. It's not really anything added to the actual controller. The next thing on the controller, of course, is your main functions, your buttons and everything like that. So of course you've got your sticks here, and they work pretty well, no complaints there at all, and they click down. In the center here you've got select, start, and you've got the PlayStation Home button there as well, and you've also got a switch that says LED on and off. Now I'll get to that in a moment. On the side here you've got a D-pad. Nothing really fantastic about the D-pad. It feels a bit mushy. I don't know, it's not the best D-pad, but it does the job. I mean, when you press it, it's responsive, it responds immediately. But yeah, still not the best D-pad on this. On the other side, you've got your function buttons, your X, circle, square, and triangle, and you'll notice they are a bit smaller than your standard PlayStation buttons. They are quite a bit smaller than your standard buttons and what you're used to. But they press down quite nicely, and they respond in the game pretty well as well. On the back, you've got your charge port here where you plug your charging cable in. Of course, you've got the lights at the back there. You've got your two buttons, which they work pretty well. Very responsive, very nice. But what's really nice is the next thing is the triggers. Now you can see that they actually curve like a trigger, and when you pull them down, they sort of like a trigger. When you hold this and you press them down, they feel really nice. It's really nice to pull those triggers. And it does almost feel like you are using a gun and you're shooting and pulling a trigger. They are very nice, and because they got that little flange right at the end there, your finger does not slip off. It'll be very hard for your finger to really just slip off while you're gaming. It actually holds it nice, it gives you a bit more grip, and it prevents you from actually slipping off the buttons completely. So the triggers are very nice, very responsive, and feel just really nice to hold and use. Alright, so the next feature is of course the LED glow. Now this does have backlit and illumination as they advertise. Basically what you need to do, you just need to pull this out from the battery compartment. That's just to keep the battery while it's in the packaging. And I'll just have to plug it in because this is not charged at the moment. So I've just got this connected to my PS3 just to get some power into it so that I can actually show it exactly how it works. Alright, so you can see it's lit up at the back there now that it's got power. And when you turn LED on, it lights up. So you've got basically LEDs around the D-pad here in a nice circular motion. There's actually illumination down here as well, where the sticks are. You can see just under the sticks, and from the top as well. And of course you've got it over the function buttons as well. Around each button there is a circle of light, and that is the illumination that it provides. And it looks pretty good in the dark. I don't know if I can shield some of the light here to look up in the dark, but as you can see it's pretty bright. If you're gaming in a dark room or something like that, it just helps you know, okay, that's where the sticks are, that's where all the buttons are, and the D-pad is right in that center. So it's really easy to use. It makes it really nice to see, especially if you're gaming at night or gaming in a dark room. It's a really nice feature that they've added, and it looks really nice. So overall, it is a good controller. If I had to summarize exactly the sort of the pros and cons of this controller, the main pro of this one is, of course, you've got these triggers at the back here, and those triggers feel really nice. It's just really nice to use those triggers. Secondly, the pro would be the weight. It has a nice weight. The weight just feels really nice for the controller, and I think they've gotten that right. And I think it's also due to the fact they've got a battery pack at the back there, but it does feel nice. Next one would be the LED lights. Basically, this backlit illumination looks really nice, and it also really helps you when you're gaming in the dark. It does look pretty good, and it's really easy to see exactly what you need to see when you're gaming at night. So that's a pretty cool feature that they've added. The next thing, of course, I would say would be a pro. This kind of material, even though it's prone to fingerprint type thing, it's really easy to clean. So, you know, if you get your controllers dirty easily, or dust or anything like that when it's sitting down when you're not playing, this controller is just really easy to clean because you can just wipe it off. So that material, that kind of shiny material, is just really easy to clean off. Okay, going into your cons. Now, your cons, the big one will probably be the D-pad. D-pad is nothing fantastic at all. It gets the job done, and it's basically accurate. It responds to you, but it just doesn't feel as nice as it could have. The second con would be, of course, the small buttons. These buttons could have been a bit bigger. I think what they're going for is to make sure that you had enough space so you didn't accidentally press 2 buttons at once and trying to do it. But I know just a slightly bigger buttons would have been a little bit better. And I think they also did it because they needed space for the LEDs. So I think that's why they did it. They just wanted more space for the LED function underneath. And they probably just made them smaller to compromise for that. But I don't know, I think the buttons would have been a bit better if they were just slightly a bit bigger. It didn't have to be much, just a bit bigger. And they probably would have felt a bit bigger to do as well. But that's just how they've designed it, I think, to accommodate those LEDs. And of course, the last con that I would have to say about this thing is this grip. Even though it does the job, it allows you to hold the controller, and it does fit into your hand quite nicely, it doesn't feel as good as some controller grips that I've felt in the past. There's some controllers that you put in your hands and they just feel like it's meant to go in your hands. It just feels absolutely perfect. With these, even though it gives you a bit of grip, it gives you something to hold on to, these grips just don't feel quite right. They're pretty close, but they're just not right. So they could use some improvement. They do the job, but some improvement would be nice. So overall, it's a good controller. It works well, it responds well, all the functions work on it. The LED features are a really nice touch. It makes it really easy to game at night, really easy to use at any time of the day, really. Easy to hold, nice weighted controller, rechargeable battery, so when it goes flat you can either just plug it in and keep playing, or just charge it up. And yeah, it'll give you quite a good battery life as well. I haven't played it fully till the battery goes flat, so I'm not sure exactly how many hours the battery will give you. But yeah, it will give you quite a few hours to play with. And of course, it uses your standard cable, your mini USB cable that PlayStation 3 uses. So it is the same charge cable that you have with, say, your normal official Sony PlayStation controller. So you can use your own charge cable or the one that it comes with as well. So overall, I would say it is a good controller. It is ideal for, of course, COD fans, Black Ops 2 fans, or any kind of COD fan in general, because of course it's got the Call of Duty artwork right in the center there, and it is a limited edition controller for that fan series. So for the COD fan, absolutely, it's going to be a brilliant controller, and I'm sure you'll get great use out of it on your PS3. For anyone else, if you're looking for a good controller and everything like that, and if you see this cheap, for instance, like I bought this when it was on sale. I think I paid about $34 for it or something like that. I got it cheap, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a fair price, and I bought it. That's a good price. Around, you know, your $30, $40 mark, 45 maybe. That's a good price for something like this. But if you see it advertised for like 50 or 60 or anything more than that, there are better controllers out there. For the features it provides, there are better controllers out there. So if you can get it at a good price, absolutely, highly recommend it. Good controller, will give you good features in that. But if you pay anything more than, like, say, 45 or 50 or anything like that, then you might want to look at some of the other options you have available for PlayStation 3 controllers. Because there's a lot of controllers over $50 that have a lot more features, like a ton of more features, especially aimed at the first-person shooter. So that is something you have to take into account if you see this. But overall, if you're a Call of Duty fan, absolutely, then this is ideal for you. Or if you can see it cheap and everything like that, and you're just looking for a decent controller to play with the PlayStation 3, then absolutely, this is a good controller, and I would well recommend it. Although, I would say the company Big Ben, if they could make a couple of improvements, including the grip, the size of the buttons, and the D-pad and everything like that, then it would be a much better controller. But anyway guys, that was the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 limited edition controller for PlayStation 3. Give you one more look at around the controller. That's what the LED's off. So you guys, that's all I can say about this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Sharkie Gamer. Don't forget to check out my channel. I'll have heaps other gaming, control, and accessory reviews up shortly. If you haven't subscribed already, then please do so, as I'll have heaps more videos up. Feel free to leave a comment down below. If you like this video, hit that like button. Really helps out a lot, guys. And thanks for watching.